Hello, everybody. Woo, 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 woo. Don't even ask me what that's about. Anyway, hello and good evening. I hope that this is a great day for you and that you're up to it, ready to hear some great career advice to help to put your career where you want it to be. I am popping on because today I want to talk to you, especially those of you who are in the market for a career change and you're looking for a new career, a new job, and maybe you haven't quite settled on what that new thing should be yet. So what I want to do tonight is give you a warning about some things that you should skip, just absolutely totally avoid. Now that might be a weird thing, and I've done some lives where I've talked about like the hot careers for women for 2019 and the ones that you really should focus on. But tonight I'm going to focus on the ones that you should avoid, because in the end they're not worth the requirement that it takes to get into them. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. And again, I am not going to delay because I understand that it's late. But I wanted to share this information with you because I know I've gotten messages from a lot of you saying that you're wanting to go back to school to pursue your education. You want different job opportunities. You want to make more money. Or you're in careers and you like the work, but the pay is not what you would like or what you desire. And if that is the case, then this information would be pertinent to you. So I am Vashana Weatherspoon, career strategist and excellence accelerator, helping women who feel frustrated in their careers to emerge from stuck and surge to their next level of success. I am also the host of the Know Your Worth Career podcast that is centered around helping women who feel frustrated in their careers to find solutions to some of the situations that we often find ourselves in, and bring on special guest experts to help women to figure out how to navigate these issues and to deal with them successfully. So we're going to jump right into it. But before I do, I want to invite you, of course, as always, to like and share this video. Particularly if you know someone who is looking to change careers, who is thinking about going back to school to further their education or to get an education so that they can have a good job, as I talked about yesterday. Invite them so that they can hear this information to make sure that they are being steered in a good direction. Or, in this case, to make sure that they're avoiding these particular jobs that I'm about to talk about. So, there are 10 of them that I'm going to share with you. And these are career fields to avoid if you are someone who's in the market for going back to school or changing your careers. And the reason why these career fields are suggested as those that you should avoid is because the cost and expense of getting into these career fields exceed the amount of money that you could possibly hope to gain over the course of the career. And so nobody wants to go to school to get an education. You pay out a lot of money, and when you're done with the education, your level of living doesn't increase, your income doesn't increase. It's even, maybe it increases from where you were right now, but the ceiling on it is really low. And so the return on investment is just not there. And so you want to, try to make some different decisions so that you can steer yourself in a different direction and hopefully pick a better career choice. So the number one career area is human services work. Human services worker. So these jobs have an average pay of about $28,000 per year. And so if you look at the cost of obtaining a degree in these areas and the cost, what you could potentially stand to earn over the span of a 30-year career, you actually come out in the hole with this degree, where the average is just $28,000. So over the span of 30 years, you could expect to earn about $840,000 over 30 years. But after you factor into this whole equation, the cost of getting the degree is actually down to $680,000, because college educations are pretty expensive these days. And I'm sure this research is based on some of the higher rates of tuition, but nevertheless, it depends on where you decide to go to school and all of that stuff. But still, if you can only make $841,000, and in the end you're paying over $100,000 for education, and your average salary only turns out to be about $28,000 per year, that is, actually it's probably pretty close to poverty. I can't even get that out. Depending on the number of people that you have in your household and the area of the country that you're living in. Oh my gosh, I'm having a brain fog here. So the second one is a daycare worker, or daycare worker / teacher. And so this one has a low average annual salary of about $31,000, $32,000 per year, which really makes, becoming a teacher, which is an admirable career, and, educators are the reason, or one of the main reasons why most of us are where we are today, because if it weren't for someone who could teach us and, help us to learn our ABCs and 1, 2, 3s and the things as they advance, as you move on through your educational experience, then we wouldn't know as much as we know, especially in our education system, the way we have it set up here in the United States. But, that really means that over the course of a teacher's career, they earn maybe not even $1 million, like $950,000. But when you factor in the cost of that education, it reduces it down to $700,000 and maybe $80,000. So on average, that really leaves about, if you factor in that educational cost, it's about $25,000 per year. Because you have to consider that you actually paid to get this job, hoping that you're going to have a great return on the investment. These are careers that don't have a really great return on investment. The other one is a painter / illustrator. And these jobs, the average annual salary is about $42,000 annually, and over the course of a 30-year career, it's about, a person can make about $1.2 million over 30 years. So, they keep climbing. But when you factor in the cost of getting that education, then the average salary falls to about $35,000. So it's about a $5,000 difference per year when you factor in the fact that you had to actually pay to get the education. So these are some jobs that you might want to skip if you're looking for a new career, because the cost of getting into them outweighs the benefit that you can gain when you're working in that career. The next one is a graphic designer. Now, graphic designers make about $43,000 a year on average, and of course all of this depends on the locality that you live in, but it's about $43,000 a year. And over a 30-year span, a career span, a person could expect to make about $1.3 million over the 30 years. But when you factor in the cost of the education again, that $43,000, it decreases, and it is more like 36. So, every time I tell you a salary range, deduct about $5,000 from it over the course of that whole 30 years. And that gives you an idea of how much you could potentially earn. And as you've noticed, these jobs that I've talked about are not paying a whole lot of money to begin with. And so when you factor in that education cost, then it makes the reward of it, the benefit of it, the financial benefit of it, even less so. So the next one is associate pastor, which requires a degree in religious studies or a theology degree of some kind in most cases. And they can be pretty costly. The degree itself can cost upwards of $100,000, $200,000, depending on, again, what schools you go to. But the average salary is about $46,000 per year. Factoring in educational costs over the span of a career, you're looking at about $39,000, $40,000 per year that you would earn each year over 30 years. So it's not a whole lot of money, as I've been saying. And then you have your chemical dependency counselors, which are very much needed with all of the addiction crises that we have going on, especially here in the United States, which usually requires a degree, a sociology degree of something related to that, which can be pretty pricey as well, depending on where you study. But the average salary is only about $38,000, $39,000 per year for someone who's in that kind of field. Over a 30-year span, they earn about $1.2 million. But when you factor in that whole educational cost again, then you're back down to $33,000, $34,000 a year annually that the person is earning. And then our beloved elementary school teachers. So I already talked about the teachers and how needed they are, how necessary they are. But teaching requires education. You have to go to school. You have to get a degree in education to become a certified teacher. And the average salary is about $44,000, $45,000 a year. They don't get paid a lot for the work and the effort that they have to contribute. And when you factor in their educational costs, then that salary goes down over the 40-year career span to about $37,000, $38,000 per year. So still, for the amount of education that's required, all the rigorous training that they have to go through, the testing and all of these kinds of things, the financial return is really low compared to all of the things that are required to become an elementary school teacher. And then you have news reporters. News reporters usually have to have a degree in communication. And that can cost upwards of, again, $100,000 depending on where you go to school. But the average salary is around $39,000, $40,000 per year for a news reporter. Over the span of a 30-year career, they could expect to earn about $1.2 million, 1.3, depending on where you're living or whatever. But when you're factoring in, again, those educational costs that you have to invest to even get into the career space, then you're back down to about $34,000, $35,000 per year. And then the beloved, I don't know that they're beloved at all. I saw a video today about correctional officers and it was very, it was discouraging. But anyway, I know that's not all people, that's just that particular incident. But this one is correctional officers, which in some cases requires a degree. I know plenty of people who work as correctional officers and they don't have any kind of degree. But at any rate, assuming you needed to have a degree, it would be something like sociology, I wouldn't even say criminal justice or whatever, but which can be costly, again, to get those kinds of degrees. And factoring in educational costs, your average salary could be upwards of it could be around $40-ish, $44,000, and I'll tell you, based upon some of the correctional officer salaries that I know about, that's probably on the high end. But at any rate, they earn about over $1 million, $1.2, $1.3 million per year, depending on, again, the geographical location that they work in. And so, if you have actually gone to school and earned a degree to be able to have this job, and what you get out of it is roughly $38,000 when you're factoring in your educational cost. It's not a whole lot of money to be able to justify all of the things that it takes to get that particular type of degree. And then the last thing would be your religious educators, which usually requires education in religious studies or theology or something along that line. And the average salary is about $53,000 for people who have this kind of major, who do this kind of work. They can expect over the course of a career to earn about $1.6 million over 30 years. And of course, there are some people in this field that really excel, probably as with any other field, and some that don't even do, quite as good as this is what I'm talking about. But over the course of the 30 years, $1.6 million, which is probably one of the highest ones that we talked about tonight. But factoring in that whole educational cost and the cost of all the things that it takes to get into that type of a career, then you're looking at about $47,000 when you factor in those costs. So again, even though this is probably the highest one that we've talked about, it's still not a whole lot of money, just based on the fact that you can pay $100,000, $200,000 just to get the degree, to get into this career field. And over the lifespan of the career, you could not really end up making a whole lot of money on a yearly basis. So these are some career fields that you might want to think very carefully about if you're one of the people who are considering returning to school to further your education or to get an education so that you can start a career. Because especially if, which I know for a lot of you this is something that's really, really important, but especially if you are someone who is concerned about the amount of money that you will be able to make from your career choice. That's a big concern for a lot of people, is making enough money and having enough money to take care of their life and make ends meet and all of those kinds of things. So if that's a big concern for you, then you want to be someone who really takes all of these things into consideration up front before you go and make decisions about, I want to go and have a career in XYZ and it requires me to go back to school for 4 years or 6 years or whatever it requires. And so you want to factor in what that investment is for you to even get there. And if at the end of the day, it'll be worth it when you actually look at what the average salaries are for those kinds of jobs. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys tonight, because I know, like I said, I've seen a lot of messages about people wanting to go back to school, wanting to further their education, wanting to get jobs that pay more money. And so I wanted to share this with you so that when you're making those decisions, you have this information that you can actually take into consideration. And if you're actually interested in diving a little deeper into it, I actually found this on Fox Business, I think, and I thought it was really something that my audience needed to hear. And so I am sharing it with you tonight. So that's all I have for you on that. I want to again invite those of you who are ready to take action to move your career to the next level so that you can earn more money, so that you can get a better job, so that you can figure out what it is that you need to pursue as you return to school, so that you can have the fulfilling career that you want. my Your Next Level Career Action Planner, which helps you to do just that. Figure out what your next level is for you in your career. And in addition to helping you figure it out, it helps you to figure out how to start taking steps to make progress toward reaching that goal, how to really become laser focused and hone in on the things that it takes to get you from where you are to where you want to be, how to measure whether or not you're making progress, how to keep yourself accountable so that you don't just do this one week and then the next week you decide, oh, maybe that wasn't a good idea, but something to help you to keep yourself focused, to keep yourself on track, to keep yourself accountable to you, because you're the most important person that you need to be accountable to for your goals, because whatever goals that you set for yourself, they're to better you, they're to better your family, they're to just to make your life in general to be in a better place or a better situation, and even generations to come behind you. So there's a lot at stake when you make these decisions about what to do with your career, and it's very important. And I want to give you the opportunity to have something like this that you can utilize to help you to move yourself forward to reaching your goals by the end of 2019. Not 3 years from now, not 5 years, not 7 years from now, but this year, making real steps to help you to reach the goals that you set for yourself. And if your goal is going back to college for 4 years, of course you won't be done with that by the end of this year, but you can certainly get yourself enrolled in school and starting taking courses, or figuring out how you can make all of this stuff work and do it in a very strategic and methodical way so that you can see progress over time. And so you can have access to this Your Next Level Career Action Planner. On Facebook, there's actually a link in the video, at the bottom of the video, but it's bit.ly/Your Next Level CAP, Career Action Planner is what it stands for. It's like a cap that you put on your head. It's bit.ly/Your Next Level Career Action Planner, CAP. That's all I have for you guys tonight. Go ahead and check out the link and get yourself your copy today so that you can get on track to meeting your goals by the end of 2019. I will see you tomorrow. I hope you enjoy the rest of your night. Bye-bye.